local people like us, people who can visit your office or restaurant or golf course or wherever. My name's Dave Dennis. I rejoined Midwest Family a while back as an integrated marketing consultant because of the great things that can happen if you decide to talk to us. And when you do, I'll send you our newest ebook on recruitment. It's free and full of ideas on how to tackle the recruitment challenges you're facing today. Look for me at MidwestFamilySPI.com. And let's talk about your next step to business success in this changing world.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
This persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country. From the Russia hoax, to the no collusion Mueller witch hunt, to impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, the 51 lying intelligence officers, how about them? They said it's Russia disinformation, and they knew it wasn't.
Well, it's former President Donald Trump yesterday evening, after being arrested and charged with 37 counts of federal crimes. And he is, of course, making his, appeal to the public and an interesting sign of what's to come, I guess, when it comes to the 2024 campaign. Welcome back. Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. We got a lot to do here with the statements that the former president made and just exactly what he's going to be laying out here. Today, by the way, is his birthday. Not only is it Flag Day, but it is his birthday. So let's get into it. This is the former president last night after having to go to Miami to ultimately face those charges. And it's something I think that really shows just where we're at in this country on the questions of a two-tier justice system and something else that really is raising alarm for a lot of political observers. So let's hear the highlights of former President Donald Trump addressing supporters at an event after he had to fly from Miami back to Bedminster. And in front of supporters, he raised really, I think, is what's going to be his rallying cry as we further approach the 2024 presidential election.
Today we witness the most evil and heinous abuse of power in the history of our country. Very sad thing to watch. A corrupt sitting president had his top political opponent arrested on fake and fabricated charges of which he and numerous other presidents would be guilty, right in the middle of a presidential election in which he is losing very badly. This is called election interference and yet another attempt to rig and steal a presidential election. More importantly, it's a political persecution like something straight out of a fascist or a communist nation. This day will go down in infamy, and Joe Biden will forever be remembered as not only the most corrupt president in the history of our country, but perhaps even more importantly, the president who, together with a band of his closest thugs, misfits, and Marxists, tried to destroy American democracy. But they will fail, and we will win bigger and better than ever before. They were full of newspapers, press clippings, thousands of pictures, thousands and thousands of White House pictures. The White House photographers, some are with us today. They took so many pictures, and we saved all of them, and they were in those boxes. Clothing, memorabilia, and much, much more. I hadn't had a chance to go through all the boxes. It's a long, tedious job, takes a long time, which I was prepared to do, but I have a very busy life. I've had a very busy life. They make it more busy because you're always fighting. And under the Sox decision, There seemed to be no rush. I wasn't in a rush because that decision was a law. Never before have the two standards of justice in our country been more starkly revealed. Joe Biden had troves of classified documents from his time as vice president and even as a senator, which was completely and totally illegal. In fact, other senators heard about it. Dick Durbin heard about it. You have to see his response. There's no way that's totally illegal. Took him as a senator out of a skiff. They were shocked when they found out. They actually thought it was impossible to do. Unlike me, who had absolute declassification authority as president, Joe Biden as vice president had no authority to declassify and no right to possess the documents. He had no right. Instead of falling under the Presidential Records Act, Biden's actions fell under a much stricter Federal Records Act, which has very, very tough criminal penalties. Yet nothing happens to Crooked Joe. Nothing happened. Have you heard anything about the big search for his documents? No, only me. Most infamously of all, Hillary Clinton set up an illegal private server in her basement. You never heard this story.
And again, it's the former president at Bedminster addressing supporters. We'll hear more of the president coming up here. Stay tuned. It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. You can always chime in live and local if you're into it at 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. It is Springfield's Morning News, now 6:17. And stay tuned. We got more coming up. All right, let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got a high of 86, the low of 63, warming up Thursday to a high of 91, and then Friday, 86 to high with sunshine. Saturday, chance of showers, and then we're seeing a high around 87, and Sunday, chance of showers, the high of 86. Right now, we've got about 64 degrees at 618 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
If you're planning a furniture facelift, your timing couldn't be better. Hendricks Home Furnishings is moving all floor samples and warehouse overstock today. They need it all gone. So prices have been slashed to historic lows, never before seen and never to be seen again. That includes Lazy Boy. Come choose your favorites. Get it delivered fast and free during this one and only clearance blowout at the place where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4, Verdon, and online at hendricks.tv.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-388-0011. 800-388-0011. That's 800-388-0011.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
All right, head over to WMAY.com and take today's daily poll, which asks, Amtrak will soon be posting speeds of 110 miles per hour between Chicago and St. Louis. Does that make you more likely to use Amtrak for travel? Well, so far this morning, 100% of you say no. You can go vote at WMAY.com/poll. We're on the WMAY mobile app, again asking you if the 110 mile an hour limits for Amtrak are making you more likely to ride Amtrak for travel. Yes or no? Go vote today.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
We're getting some of the highlights of former President Donald Trump addressing supporters after he was arrested yesterday and the day before his birthday. Today's his birthday. It's also Flag Day. Interesting. Of course, we had all of the headlines from last week when he revealed that, but he also talked about how former Vice President Joe Biden, now president, he says that there's indication he's corrupt and allegations that he's corrupt, taking bribes and divvying it out to the Biden family. So we'll hear more from Trump, but President Joe Biden, he was giving an address about Juneteenth last night about the same time. And there was an interesting chyron, the lower third of a Fox News frame, that said something to the effect of, a dictator and a former president, top challenger. We're in a really bizarre time right now. And I think it's something that we all have to kind of step back and take a look at things. Governor J.B. Pritzker was asked about this yesterday afternoon after former President Trump turned himself in. And here's what J.B. Pritzker had to say in response to what happened yesterday.
Well, look, it looks to me like he committed espionage. We'll have to see how the trial goes. But everybody should be held accountable to the law. It doesn't matter what position you ever held. The fact is that the law is the law. If you broke the law, you ought to be held accountable.
Thank you so much. So again, Governor J.B. Pritzker saying that it looks like Trump committed sabotage, or not sabotage, but espionage. And that's one of the allegations, I guess, in the Espionage Act. So what's President Trump have to say about all of this? We continue with reviewing some of what he had to say. And, of course, he acknowledged last night after people started singing happy birthday that, indeed, it was his birthday. Here is the former president.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Great birthday. Nice birthday, isn't it? Nice birthday. Wonderful birthday. They were saying happy birthday. I was with Eric and Laura, the kids. Happy birthday, Grandpa. Happy. And I said, oh, great. I just got charged with, they want 400 years approximately. If you add them all up, a fake 400 years old. Thank you, darling. That's so nice. It's a wonderful birthday. We're going to make it into the greatest birthday of all. We'll make it into the greatest of all. The prosecutor in the case, I will call it our case, is a thug. I've named him Deranged Jack Smith. I wonder what his name used to be, Jack Smith. It sounds so innocent, doesn't it? Jack Smith. What's his name? Jack Smith. He's a very nice man. He's a behind-the-scenes guy, but his record is absolutely atrocious. He does political hit jobs. He's been known to viciously arrest a certain governor. You know the governor, Bob McDonnell of Virginia, and absolutely ruined his life and the life of his family. All these wonderful family members, I knew them, only to have the case overturned 8-0 by the Supreme Court. He destroyed that man and he destroyed that family. And by the way, I will tell you, I'm here and I love you all and we can take it. But what these thugs have done to my family is a disgrace. I will tell you that. And I say it to all of the fake news because there's a lot of it back there. Don't forget this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country. From the Russia hoax to the no collusion Mueller witch hunt, to impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, the 51 lying intelligence officers, how about them? They said it's Russia disinformation, and they knew it wasn't, which made about, according to some of the great pollsters that are right here, made from anywhere from a 10 to 17 point difference, and yet we still got more votes than any sitting president in history in the second election. It's all been a battle of disinformation, one thing after the other, and all to protect the radical left misfits. It's also no coincidence that these charges against me came down the very same day. Evidence revealed Joe Biden took a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. Took a $5 million bribe. But the FBI and the Justice Department don't even want to talk about it. They showed something on television tonight. It had 0 time on the 3 major networks, 0. But my impeachment had almost all the time. I think I had 351 minutes. They had no minutes. Joe Biden and the radical left can take foreign bribes and be totally protected. Republicans all, you must finally get tough. You've got to get tough. You got to get tough and you got to show them. If the communists get away with this, it won't stop with me. They will not hesitate to ramp up their persecution of Christians, pro-life activists, parents attending school board meetings, and even future Republican candidates, which they do. We must end it permanently, and we must end it immediately. Now that the seal, so important, is broken, the seal is broken by what they've done. They should never have done this. This was an unwritten rule. You just don't. Unless it's really bad. But you just don't. But the seal is now broken. In addition to closing the border and removing all of the criminal elements that have illegally invaded our country, making America energy independent and even dominant again, and immediately ending the war between Russia and Ukraine, I'll have it ended in 24 hours. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. Name a special prosecutor. And all others involved with the destruction of our elections, our borders, and our country itself. They're destroying our country. And when I'm reelected, and we will get reelected, we have no choice. We're not going to have a country anymore. I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will obliterate the deep state. And we know who they are. I know exactly who they are. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They want you silent. And I am the only one that can save this nation because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job.
Again, former President Donald Trump last night, some of the highlights of his speech. And I wanted to re-air one particular element here that I thought was pretty telling as to at least the president's mindset here. And this is essentially him saying that the past 7 years or so, there's been a psychological operation conducted on the United States by the intelligence community. Here is the former president.
Don't forget, this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country. From the Russia hoax to the no collusion Mueller witch hunt.
And he goes on from there, but, he was the president. He knew how psychological operations are used by the U.S. intelligence community or other Western intelligence communities against certain countries to spur chaos and sow disinformation and discord and discontent. It's a tactic that is part of the intelligence playbook, and it's a psychological operation, a psyop. So the former president making that clear in his speech, at least that's his perspective as to what's happened here in this country the past 7 years. I think it's rather fascinating, and we're going to be watching all of this unfold in front of our very eyes in the next 2 years as we rapidly approach the election and the post-election and whatever ultimately happens thereafter. All right, stay tuned. Coming back, got an announcement from a local candidate who is looking to get elected to another office. So stay tuned. We'll talk about that. And it's right here with Springfield's Morning News. Now 6:33. We got to get a check of headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. The National Park Service says the site of the 1908 race riot in Springfield meets the criteria to be included as part of the national park system, an important step toward the possible establishment of a national monument here. The Special Resource Study says the archaeological site, containing remnants of property destroyed during the violent episode, meets the criteria for Park Service management. Area members of Congress have been pushing to have the site declared a national monument, and a congressional hearing is set for next week on a bill to make that happen. The era of high-speed rail has arrived in Illinois. Beginning June 26th, Amtrak says it will be running trains at speeds up to 110 miles per hour on its Lincoln service between Chicago and St. Louis. That will make the trip up to 15 minutes faster from the current 90-mile-an-hour speed and 30 minutes faster than when the rail improvement project began, when trains ran at 79 miles per hour on the corridor. Union Pacific, which maintains those tracks, says Amtrak will be able to operate at the top speed along 80% of the corridor, excluding major metro areas and one area where the curvature of the track requires slower speeds. Illinois has invested nearly $2 billion in improvements to tracks, crossings, and rail stations along the corridor. Capital Township is looking for someone to fill a vacancy on its Board of Trustees. Brad Carlson recently resigned from the board following his election as a Springfield alderman. Applicants must be a registered voter who lives within Capital Township and must be of the same political party as Carlson, a Republican. Applications must be submitted by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, June 21st. They can be sent by mail or email to Capital Township Supervisor Joe Alio at the Sangamon County Building. The Illinois High School Association is discontinuing 2 state tournaments, each of which had been around more than 70 years. The IHSA Board of Directors voted to end the state series in boys gymnastics and in debate because of a lack of participation. Under IHSA bylaws, a state tournament in a given event will end when less than 7% of member schools participate. Both events fell below that threshold several years ago, but were given a grace period to see if involvement would rebound after the pandemic. The first debate state finals were held in 1941. But last year, only 39 out of 817 member high schools participated. Boys gymnastics began in 1951 and peaked with 79 schools in 1977, but was down to just 40 schools this year. The Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance is touting a new study that gives Springfield high marks for housing affordability. The The ranking from Wallet Hub puts Springfield 9th on a list of 300 U.S. cities. The ranking looks at 10 metrics, including home prices, maintenance costs, insurance rates, property taxes, and cost of living. Ryan McCready with the Growth Alliance says the affordability and stability of the local housing market are big draws when it comes to attracting new businesses and jobs to the area. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health: meditation. It starts with proper breathing. By breathing in slowly for 5 or 10 seconds and exhaling, counting the same way, for just a few minutes each day has been a big deal for many people as they reach a new level of relaxation. Now, that's just a start. If your feelings of depression and hopelessness are accentuated with drugs and alcohol, then you may need some professional help. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychiatrists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Gateway also uses meditation as a key component of their successful treatment. Your insurance covers the cost, and the Family Medical Leave Act protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
If you're planning a furniture facelift, your timing couldn't be better. Hendricks Home Furnishings is moving all floor samples and warehouse overstock today. They need it all gone, so prices have been slashed to historic lows, never before seen and never to be seen again. That includes Lazy Boy. Come choose your favorites. Get it delivered fast and free during this one and only clearance blowout at the place where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4, Verdon, and online at hendricks.tv.
Hello, everybody. It's Cousin Bill with Illinois Paving. And we want to thank you for voting us #1 Reader's Choice Award Paver of the Year. Now, is that driveway of yours a sloppy, muddy mess? Is your driveway becoming a nuisance? Are you getting stuck in your driveway? Maybe your driveway is soft and it's unfunctional. Well, call the day and get on the schedule to get your driveway back to looking good, and you'll feel great about it. ILPaving.com! ILPaving.com.
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Mostly sunny today with a high near 86, low tonight around 62. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 90, low around 60. Friday sunny with a high near 86. Saturday, a chance of afternoon showers with a high near 87, and Sunday, showers are likely with a high near 86 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Every industry has specialists, like Alan here. He knows radiators.
Radiators. I love them. Don't even talk to me about brakes or fuel lines.
Just radiators.
Radiators.
Sally is a specialist in cakes.
I think pies are an abomination.
Really? Pies?
Yuck.
Then we have Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. You know what they're great at? Appliances. Nothing else. No TVs, no computer printers, no radiators.
Who's got a problem with radiators?
Nobody, Alan, but you can't get one at Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
Too bad. They're missing out.
I'm Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. All we do is appliances. And when that's all you do it better than anyone else. Our associates on our sales floors know more about them, our delivery people are better at installing them, and our technicians are better at fixing them. All right here in Central Illinois. Wow!
I can't believe you don't like pies, though.
What do I look like, some kind of a peasant?
No.
Cakes are really the best thing.
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections. Springfield to Chicago O'Hare to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local. Fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
Unpunished crime. Do you wonder sometimes if you're next on a criminal's target list? It's hard to know the real answer, but it's easy to make sure that you and your family are more secure. Barcom Security protects by minimizing response times. When trouble strikes, you're backed up with a live person who takes your call 24 hours a day. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute. In a world where we've become dependent upon Google Maps and Siri, I'm a big fan of manual override, as in, I continue to carry a physical map with me on my road trips. Here's a quiz. Ever wonder how U.S. interstate highways are organized? Well, with even or odd numbers. Even-numbered roads run from east to west, while odd-numbered roads run from north to south. For example, I-95 runs from the north to the south on the eastern seaboard, while I-40 runs from east to west, close to the middle of the country. See? Now wasn't that simple? And again, when in doubt, do it the old-fashioned way. Read the map. For more information, visit petergreenberg.com. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute. Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Designed for curious travelers. Viking offers all-inclusive voyages on all 7 continents, with no children and no casinos on board. Learn more at Viking.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Well, if you feel like we just got done with an election season, you're correct, because we did have the municipal and consolidated elections a handful of weeks ago. And then before that, in November, you had the elections for, a whole host of things from Congress to, the State House. The State House, they have elections every 2 years. So coming up in November of 2024, you've got another round of elections for people who will represent you at the Illinois State House here in Springfield. And somebody making an announcement today joins us here on WMAY. I'm Greg Bishop, and we're joined now by Regan Deering, who has an announcement. Regan, thanks for taking time with us this morning and sharing with the audience what you plan on doing here. Let's hear it. What are you planning on doing?
Well, good morning, Greg. I appreciate joining you this morning and sharing my announcement with your listeners that I will be a candidate for the 88th House District. Coming up next March is our primary, and I'm excited to continue to be a common sense conservative that's fighting for families here in Central Illinois.
It's unbelievable to think that March is going to be the primary, because that is just, right around the corner. It's going to be here before we know it. But for people not familiar with what's the 88th district, tell us about the communities that encompass that district and who's the current incumbent in that district.
So, of course, we did have the maps redrawn in 2020, so I do feel like people still are learning not only their House districts, but their U.S. congressional districts as well, and that's important. The 88th, I'm in Decatur, which is sort of the southern edge, but it includes 4 counties, Macon County, Piatt County, DeWitt County, and McLean County, and is currently well represented by Dan Calkins. He committed to term limits when he was first elected, and he is honoring that pledge and not seeking re-election. So I am grateful for all the work that he has done as my state representative, and am excited that he is going to give me his support in running in this next election.
And not only is he giving you his support, you're going to be out essentially on the campaign trail starting today. You've got several stops, and he's planning on being with you at several of those.
Yes, knowing Dan and the work that he's done for his constituents, I'm honored that he is going to join us as we sort of kick it off in Decatur at 10 a.m. this morning in our Civic Center, having a press conference and talking to voters about how we can't sit back and wait another 2 years before we start putting up some candidates and talking about how we need to take back this state for families that are struggling with everyday issues. Obviously, we have inflation, we've got job issues, we've got crime in our communities, we have parents who are fighting for their children in public education. So today we're going to kick it off and let them know that I'm a conservative fighter that's willing to go to Springfield and work hard for them.
We're talking with Regan Deering. She is announcing this morning that she is a candidate for the Republican primary for the Illinois State House, a district that encompasses Decatur and that area right now. Dan Calkins is the state representative. He is not seeking another term, honoring a pledge to be term limited himself. There are not term limits right now imposed on state lawmakers, but Calkins making that pledge and following through with that and supporting Deering in this. Regan, of course, stranger to politics, Illinois is dominated by Democrats. They've got a supermajority in both the House and the Senate for Illinois. And how do you feel that Republicans can actually help in crafting sensible policies that are positive impacts on the state's taxpayers?
Well, you're absolutely right in that, those in Democratic control majority in the state are wreaking havoc on our lives. And those Republicans, we needed to just continue to show up. We can't quit and turn a blind eye to what's happening in the state legislature. Certainly coming out of this spring session, the hundreds of bills that are being currently signed by the governor don't feel appropriate for our families and, taking a look at what our actual concerns are. And so I think that Republicans have a responsibility to show up, talk to people about why we feel our platforms and our policy agendas are the right ones for success for all in Illinois. And we'll have to just work where we can. We may not be able to get every bill, but we can work back some of the bad legislation. We've got to shine a spotlight on what these bills actually mean. I think many of us have watched over this last year. We've done gut and replace bills that sound catchy in the name and title, and then they turn out being something totally different. So what I intend to encourage people in every part of this district to do is come alongside us and start paying attention and start reaching out to your legislators and talking to them about what their priorities are and holding them to account for going to Springfield and making those changes.
Regan Deering with us. She's announcing this morning that she is seeking the Republican nomination for the Illinois State House District 88. She's from Decatur and would like to represent that area. Of course, Regan will be watching this space closely. If there's any other candidates for the Republican primary or even a possible Democratic primary, we'll definitely be talking with them as well. But what do you say are your chief concerns for taxpayers heading into an election season? And what do you think needs to be amongst the first things tackled if you were to get into office?
Well, I'm running because I'm afraid for my children and their future. We've got the political elite that are sort of ramming this agenda in, a lot of radical ideas. And, people in our communities, they're paying some of the highest taxes in the nation. They're looking for an opportunity for quality education for their children. They want to have safe communities. So I think we need to start tackling legislation that is actually going to work for the people. And if we can try and continue to stop the bleeding on taxes, I've heard, coming out of summer break now that they're talking about returning the graduated income tax. Illinoisans are so tired of being taxed and, having those dollars spent inappropriately. So if we can try and reclaim some of those dollars, make sure that what we are spending is making a difference in the lives of everyday Illinoisans, that's going to be our first priority. And, when we think about policy in the State House, I'm a little bit terrified by the values that are being driven into some of these policy changes. We need to be able to recognize individual freedoms and hard work and personal responsibility. And, we have to take care of those less fortunate. And that's something that I've been instilling in my own children and something I've been doing in working throughout my life and in service to my community. So I think that if people can recognize that those are my priorities, I think they'll find that I'm the best person to send to Washington to fight for them.
And Regan, finally here, I'm going to talk with Ted Dabrowski from WirePoint's coming up, and he's got the latest census data that just continues to show Illinois' losing population, despite the governor denying that. How do we reverse that?
Well, if you've been paying attention, that WirePoint's article shouldn't be a shock. Unfortunately, that data comes right out of here in my backyard of Decatur. But all across Central Illinois and across the state, our public education is failing our students. And we've got to do a better job at making sure that we retain and recruit quality educators. We make sure that our classrooms are an appropriate size. We're making sure that all of our students are getting, the attention and the focus they need. And we just need to get back to teaching the basics. we've got so many things creeping into our curriculum, and we have families that just want, reading, writing, math, and arithmetic, and preparing our students for the future. So if we can concentrate on that again, I think that we will have a great opportunity for our families in public education, our families in private education, and supporting our homeschooling parents as well.
Regan Deering announcing she's running for the Illinois State House. Greatly appreciate your time this morning. I imagine we'll talk again in the near future. All right, be safe out there.
Thanks so much, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk, now 6:51. And let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got a high of around 86 degrees. Plenty of sunshine. Some clouds rolling through tonight, the low of 63. Thursday, mostly sunny, the high of 91. And then Friday, sunny with a high of 86. Saturday, got a chance of showers, the high of 87. And Sunday, continued chance of showers, the high of 86. Right now, it's about 65 degrees. And it's 6:51 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Work with a team that cares about being the best part of the customer's day. Apply today at Culver's West on Wabash.
Buying a new mattress shouldn't be like buying a new car. Mattress retailers reel you in with a low price, and their salespeople try to sell you something at a high price. Or they'll use huge price reductions, and their salespeople will say something like, "This set was originally priced at $12,000, but now, at 50% off, you only have to pay $6,000. And then there's the add-ons. There's a difference between us and them. At Verlo, you're not met at the door by a high-pressured salesperson. You actually speak with the ones that build your mattress. We understand buying a new mattress can be confusing. Our knowledgeable comfort coaches will work with you to help you make an informed decision, whether or not you buy from us. That's the difference between us and them. Make sure you stop in this month at your local Verlo mattress and save money, so you can put it under your mattress, not in it. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Battery, generations of power. Batteries of all shapes and sizes. Excellent service, exceptional value.
They're called Motobat batteries, and we have them at Rex. Motobats are batteries for motorcycles that are powerful enough to handle all your accessories. As you add new gadgets to your motorcycle, the standard factory battery may not be enough to handle it all. The Motobat battery is designed to send enough juice to the whole motorcycle and keep you moving down the road. At Rex Battery, we have all kinds of batteries for all kinds of vehicles. The Motobat battery has a quad flex terminal design, shortening the path to the battery cable. That means you get quicker power delivery and improved starting ability. If you have a motorcycle, you need Motobat. Rex Battery on Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local, fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
Get 11% off great gifts for Dad at Menards. Give the gift that keeps on giving with a new Masterforce XHC high-capacity battery, delivering the power you want in a 20% more compact size. Just $79.99 after rebate. Add a power tool for Dad with a Masterforce 20-volt half-inch hammer drill kit for $119.96 after 11% rebate. Good through June 18th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, and we've got the council roundup coming up in the next hour. So it's an opportunity to listen to what happened at the last night's Springfield City Council Committee of the Whole meeting. So stay tuned for that. But we've also got later on, we'll talk about the governor going out and about touting new projects, but also responding to why Illinois' gas tax is so higher than, say, Missouri's gas tax, because the governor was near the Illinois-Missouri border with several projects going on there. But we've also got to touch on COVID-19 fraud and something that still we don't know the full scope of how much there was. And it's quite staggering when you look at all the numbers that there are. The U.S. Congress approved $4.5 trillion during the COVID pandemic. And I remember sitting at my computer at home when everything was shut down and they were announcing all these dollars. I remember thinking to myself, the level of fraud in all of this is going to be staggering. And story upon story upon story, from the unemployment trust fund and all the fraud that went out there to the Paycheck Protection Program dollars and all the fraud that went out there. Altogether, U.S. Congress approving $4.5 trillion of your tax money to go for COVID relief. And while a lot of that money may have helped hospitals deal with resource issues, there was also a ton of fraud. And in Illinois, we'll review a bill that's on the governor's desk right now to increase the statute of limitations for, how prosecutors can go after any fraud related to COVID-19 related programs, be it the Paycheck Protection Program, be it other grant funds, or be it the unemployment system. Of course, we still don't know how much fraud there was, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, we'll get to WirePoints and their latest report on U.S. Census data showing that Illinois continues to lose population. And we now know where they're headed. So what states are getting Illinois residents. So stay tuned. That's all of what's coming up. But next, we've got the council roundup, a review of Springfield City Council Committee of the Whole last night. Tons to tackle. So that's on the way here on WMAY. I'm Greg Bishop. If you want to get a hold of me at any time, you can just email me, bishoponair@gmail.com. I would encourage you to do that. Email me or find me on Twitter. The Facebook page, Bishop on Air. If you want to message me that way, make sure you do it to the Facebook page. I haven't checked my personal account in a long time. I actually dipped in there yesterday to catch some messages that people were sending a couple of weeks ago, so I apologize for not getting back to you. Best way to do it, bishoponair@gmail.com. It's 7 o'clock.
From the Fly SPI studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Jim Ryan. Donald Trump has been an entrepreneur, a TV star, a U.S. president, and now on his 77th birthday, he's a federal criminal defendant. The Florida case against him was laid out Tuesday in Miami. Trump pleaded not guilty to 37 felonies. ABC's Rachel Scott was in the courtroom.
There were Secret Service members at every single corner of the room. In the first two rows behind the former president, you had Secret Service agents. The public couldn't even sit there. And Trump had no family members inside that courtroom. It was his own lawyers, the prosecutors, members of the public, and just a few select reporters.
ABC's Justin Finch was in Bedminster, New Jersey last night when Trump gave a defiant speech.
At his New Jersey golf club, hundreds of supporters, including major Republican donors, sang happy birthday to Trump. Trump recited what is likely to be his legal argument in the case, claiming that he could keep classified documents under the Presidential Records Act.
I had every right to have these documents.
Justin Finch, ABC News, Bedminster, New Jersey.
The Federal Reserve's Open Market Committee wraps up its June meeting today with what's expected to be a pause in interest rate hikes. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says it comes after a new report showing inflation is slowing.
What the Fed is trying to do is make it more expensive to borrow money to kind of slow down spending. So the Fed is like, let's take a month and see what happens. If inflation does still stay high, they might raise rates again at their meeting in July. But for now, the expectation is that we will get this kind of pause for the first time in a while.
Officials in Japan say an 18-year-old Army trainee opened fire on 3 fellow soldiers, killing 2 of them. There's no word on a motive. New accusations in the Rust movie shooting. Prosecutors in New Mexico say armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed was likely hung over when she loaded a live bullet into Alec Baldwin's revolver. It took the life of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. This is ABC News.
Attention business owners. Stop throwing your hard-earned money away on rent. Imagine owning your own building and saving thousands every year. Sound impossible? Not if you use General Steel. General Steel can help you save thousands by owning your own custom-designed building. Just call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to see how much money you can save with General Steel. Our buildings come with a 50-year warranty, and thousands of companies, from Fortune 500 corporations to startups, have trusted the General with their building needs.
If you need to expand or start a new business, you really need General Steel.
I'm very impressed with General Steel. Everyone's been extremely helpful. I'd recommend General Steel to anyone looking to build a steel building.
Stop wasting money on rent. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to find out about all our popular quick construction kits, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building. Just call 888-747-8335 now. That's 888-74-STEEL.
All right, we got Council Roundup for you, serving it up. What happened last night? Springfield City Council Committee of the Whole is about an hour and 50 minutes or so, and we've got the latest, all right? So they talked about everything from some issues concerning fly dumping and abandoned properties to be torn down and how they go about catching people who are throwing trash all over the place, to even hearing from some of the new appointees to various departments. So stay tuned. That's coming up here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. The Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, the Juneteenth holiday will be celebrated in Springfield with a special display at the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum. The institution's copy of the Emancipation Proclamation, signed by Abraham Lincoln, will be on display in the Presidential Library from June 19th to the 23rd and the 26th through the 30th. In addition, on June 19th, the Library Museum will launch a new interactive online tool where users can see an annotated version of the proclamation and click on key words to get important historic information and context about it. Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, but it couldn't be enforced until Union troops recaptured Southern territory. Juneteenth marks the arrival of federal troops in Galveston, Texas in June 1865. The end of Roe v. Wade has marked the beginning of a surge in legal abortions performed in Illinois. Planned Parenthood says it has seen a 54% increase in the number of abortions it has performed in the state since the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a woman's right to choose nearly a year ago. The agency says the percentage of its patients coming from out of state has more than tripled. It also says the Dobbs decision has resulted in more women seeking abortions later in pregnancy, since the court ruling has imposed delays and higher costs on women's reproductive choices. The personal finance website Wallet Hub has placed Springfield 9th on a list of 300 U.S. cities for housing affordability. The ranking measures home prices, maintenance costs, insurance rates, property taxes, and cost of living, among other criteria. Ryan McCready with the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance says affordability and stability of the housing market help draw new businesses and jobs to the area. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car, and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
You probably think the sun is what's costing you money in this summer with all that heat driving up your air conditioning bills. But what if the sun could save you money? It's time to schedule your free residential solar estimate today from MB Heating and Cooling. Solar energy could be the way to bring down your bills while helping to promote a cleaner, greener environment. Illinois wants to produce 25% of its electricity from renewable resources by the year 2025, so this is a great time to enhance your home with solar paneling. You can start with little to no money down and enjoy monthly solar payments that are lower than your budget for electricity. You'll even qualify for federal and state tax incentives. MB Heating and Cooling has been creating healthy homes and businesses here in our area since 1986. They have certified technicians staying on top of the latest trends in the industry. So reach out to MB Heating and Cooling to talk about whether solar is right for you. 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328, or mb-heating.com.
Everywhere you are with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Mostly sunny today with a high near 86, low tonight around 62. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 90, low around 60. Friday sunny with a high near 86. Saturday, a chance of afternoon showers with a high near 87, and Sunday, showers are likely with a high near 86 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, SPI, to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health, and it doesn't cost a thing. Spending time outside. That's right, the natural light, the wind against your skin, the sounds and fragrances of the season all work in concert to help you feel better. Now, you can't treat clinical depression and addiction with just one step. Those are more serious problems, especially with drugs and alcohol. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychologists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Your insurance covers treatment, and the Family Medical Leave protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE, 877-505-HOPE, and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Do-it-yourself ordering kiosks now inside Head West mean getting your sub faster.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Now it's time for Greg Bishop and the Council Roundup.
Yeah, the Council Roundup brought to you each and every week by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch, and they're open for lunch on Saturdays. And don't forget about delivery, Head West Subs. Last night, Springfield City Council was a committee of the whole, about an hour and 45 minutes or so, and they covered a whole bunch of ground. Let's get right on into it, starting with the treasurer's report from Colleen Redpath-Fager, the new treasurer for the city of Springfield, and she lays out how much money is in the city's coffers. Here's how that went.
Treasurer's report for the corporate fund for the month of May. The beginning balance is $67,056,027. We took in total receipts of $17,401,161. We had total disbursements in the month of May totaling $9,449,734, which left the corporate fund ending balance in the month of May at $75,007,454. The ending general fund balance includes $21,867,158, which is the May ending balance of the ARPA money. Thank you. That concludes my report.
So $70+ million on hand, $20+ million of it is remaining COVID-19 relief dollars. What about those dollars, those COVID dollars? Are those appropriated? Are they already set aside for programs and projects? What's the ultimate takeaway there for those dollars and whether or not they're spoken for?
Treasurer, do you know how much of the ARPA balance is unallocated currently? And if you don't know now, maybe we could just get an answer for that later.
Sure. I actually asked the budget director that last week, and she said that was all accounted for.
Okay, thank you very much.
So all of the ARPA dollars, $20+ million already accounted for, but just sitting there in the city's coffers. So moving on, they've got ordinances that they've got to consider, and let's go ahead and hear which this next ordinance tackles.
With Bloom Springfield, LLC, for financial assistance for the property located at 2 South Old State Capitol Plaza, utilizing Central Area Tax Increment Finance Funds through the Office of Planning and Economic Development for an amount not to exceed $29,000.
So Alderman Sean Gregory had some questions about the match. This is going to be a 50-50 match, I believe. He asked if that's the standard. Val Yezel responding to that last night.
That is a policy that was from previous administration, and I know that our current administration has not had the time to put forth some policies concerning tips. However, it was my recommendation to her that we go with 50% since this was a life, health, safety issue, and we've got older buildings downtown, and to me it was very, very important that we have a sprinkler system in this older building. So that was my recommendation to the mayor.
I respect that. I just, when we set a precedence like this, others are going to.
And I think what we will be doing is reviewing each request as they come.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Alderman Hanauer.
Yeah, thank you. That precedent, we did have a precedent, and I think there's been numerous times where it's been broken, and I think 50% is what we've kind of moved to. So I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it. I just more for follow-up purposes, Mr. Dahl. I don't have a problem with it. I just, when we do it on a case-by-case basis, we run into people, feeling like favoritism and da-da-da. So that's my only concern. So thank you, man.
So Alderman Hanauer, he responded to that idea and says, well, maybe we do need to have some set standards here when it comes to the matching dollars that these organizations have to put up in order to tap into those tax increment finance funds.
I think that, honestly, for most of it, I think we should set a precedent. I think it's easier for you guys. You guys know where we can, where we go. And if something special comes up, such as like a Shields or a, whatever, then we can look at modifications, based on that. But I do think it would be good to set a limit of, maybe 40% or whatever.
So Alderman Roy Williams Jr. also chiming in here, making sure that the proper amount of dollars are being spent instead of giving favoritism to others. Here's Alderman Williams Jr.
Then are we basing it on merit? What are we basing this on, and who is it that's making that determination? Because it could come off like Alderman Gregory is saying that people could raise concerns. Well, that's not important to the council because of where it's located or who it is or whatever. So I'm hoping that we can come up with a consistent policy, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
So there's a new mayor. There's obviously going to be some different, takes on how to manage these tax increment finance requests. And ultimately, it's going to be up to the city council as to whether or not they approve such requests. And this one being at least advancing to the next stage in the approval process. Coming back, we'll talk about some properties that the city is looking to purchase and also demolish and how that process plays out, especially as far as timelines, and if it's not torn down immediately, the problems that arise from those experiencing homelessness, getting into the properties, to fly dumping, and a whole host of other issues. So we'll tackle that next here with the Council Roundup. With Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. It's brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch, Head West Subs. All right, let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you got a high of 86. It's going to be sunny and then some clouds rolling through tonight, the low of 63. Mostly sunny Thursday, the high up to 91. And then Friday, 86 the high with sunshine. Saturday, 30% chance of showers with a high of 87. And Sunday, chance of showers with a high of 86. Right now, it's about 65 degrees at 717 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Buying a new mattress shouldn't be like buying a new car. Mattress retailers reel you in with a low price, and their salespeople try to sell you something at a high price. Or they'll use huge price reductions, and their salespeople will say something like, "This set was originally priced at $12,000, but now, at 50% off, you only have to pay $6,000. And then there's the add-ons. There's a difference between us and them. At Verlo, you're not met at the door by a high-pressured salesperson. You actually speak with the ones that build your mattress. We understand buying a new mattress can be confusing. Our knowledgeable comfort coaches will work with you to help you make an informed decision, whether or not you buy from us. That's the difference between us and them. Make sure you stop in this month at your local Verlo mattress and save money, so you can put it under your mattress, not in it. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Register today to celebrate the accomplishments of local businesses at the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce Annual Small Business Awards. The luncheon starts at 11:30 on June 20th at the Crown Plaza, where business people will be recognized in 4 different categories: Not-for-Profit Business Director, New and Emerging Business Owner, Small Business Owner, and the Lifetime Award. Register now at gscc.org. The Chamber's Annual Small Business Awards, presented by Hickory Point Bank.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Well, summer driving season is upon us, and you don't want to get into something you're not comfortable that's going to make the long trek. Well, how about you go and see what Mike Quimby and the guys from Green Hyundai have for you, because they've got the right vehicle to get you to where you need to go safely, securely, and why not? You're going to have a fun time driving it as well. Mike, tell us about it.
That's right, Greg. We have the car lot full, and we're got 2 trucks unloading right behind the dealership right now as I'm in here this morning, and these vehicles are really, really great. I mean, Father's Day weekend, what a great weekend to buy a new or used car from Green Hyundai, as we've got everything going your way. We've set up 3 different banks where you don't have a payment for 3 months if you'd like to do that. I know you just got the kids out of school, and you wouldn't have a car payment. You put the kids back in school, and then you'd have your first car payment. So that's what's going on. So the vehicles are ready for you. They're out here on Dirksen Parkway in front of J.C. Penney's as we continue to carry on this construction clearance sales event going on Dirksen Parkway. So stop out and see us till 7 o'clock during the week, till 6 on Saturday. Your car dealer, Green Hyundai.
Mike Quimby, Green Hyundai. Have a great rest of the day.
Appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Marilyn Nash. I like all the people here. They all treat me nice. Like since my sister moved here, it's been better because if I want to go upstairs or if I want to argue with her, I can. You know, I mean, we're sisters, right? But yeah, I like just about everything here.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
All right, let's take a look at Springfield's daily poll at WMAY.com/poll. You can also take it on the WMAY mobile app, which if you have that, you can listen to us really anywhere. Amtrak will soon be posting speeds of 110 miles per hour between Chicago and St. Louis. Does that make it more likely that you'll use Amtrak for travel? Yes or no? Most of you still saying no. 76% of you say no, it's not going to change your mind. So go vote at WMAY.com/poll.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
All All right, back with the Council Roundup here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. The Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch, also open for lunch on Saturdays, and don't forget about delivery. Head West Subs. All right, getting back into it last night, they had a whole bunch of ordinances. I want to say there was like 11 or so of the city looking to take properties, part of rail relocation, and these properties are ultimately going to have to be destroyed. But there were questions about how quick these are going to be destroyed. So you had the Public Works Director Fuchs there taking questions from aldermen, and here's how that went last night at the Springfield City Council Committee of the Whole.
Then are we basing it on merit? What are we basing this on, and who is it?
That's Roy Williams Jr. previously. Here's the conversation about problem properties.
We got them boarded up and everything, and then, homeless and other people kept unboarding them back and forth. Is there any way we can expedite, or maybe I should ask it different, what's the timeline on the demolition?
One of the difficulties that we're facing is the asbestos abatement. For the inspectors to go into these facilities, these homes, they have to examine the homes, and they are sometimes occupied. So the inspectors don't feel safe going in, so we have to coordinate with the police to make sure that we can get everybody in. So that's one of the things that's really slowing it down. As far as the fly dumping go, I was in there with the solid waste crew just this past week, and we've got a lot of repeat offenders. As soon as they clean it up, and these aren't just a couple of trash bags. It's mattresses, furniture, yards and yards of carpet. It takes a great effort to keep it cleaned up. And in a week, 10 days, they come back and it's been dumped on again. So it's I'm very aware of the problem, and we're addressing it as best that we can.
So it was Roy Williams Jr. talking with the Public Works Director Fuchs about the timeline of taking these properties down, because you've got problems of homeless people going into the properties, and then you get all the fly dumping. Alderman Sean Gregory's been really concerned about the fly dumping problems in the city of Springfield, and he talked about it last night as well in reference to these collection of properties.
I'm in agreement with Alderman Williams. We do experience a lot of fly dumping and different things, as you know, Mr. Fuchs. And I know that we're in the process. I see various things on the agenda of tearing down a lot of homes, and we'll be doing that. I'd like to encourage you to reach out to our operating engineers. I know before years ago, they were willing and eager to really help us out with some of those demos on training purposes. I had a great conversation with them at one point in time, and hopefully now we have the manpower to really make an impact in this area together. All right. Thank you, sir.
So again, the conversation about making sure the resources are there and the crews are there to make this happen, but it's also a matter of enforcement, and that's something that Alderman Hanauer laid out as his main concerns of dealing with all this.
With Chief Scarlett, and get the sky cam, or get some get something over there that's a trail cams or something. Try to catch people that are doing it. I mean, the sky cam would definitely be a deterrent, because the lights are flashing and they know they're on camera. So if it's an area that we're starting to see a lot because we're buying this up, we need to start looking at that. I think that would be something, a good use of it, at least.
So utilizing some of the technology that law enforcement have, Larry Rockford, he's the Ward 4 alderman. He had concerns just about the manpower issues, but also the technology, saying that these trail cams actually do work, and as he's seen it work himself.
But I mean, we did it at the lake with trail cameras when we were getting fly dumping, and it works. You have to go searching sometimes through the garbage bags to find letters and open mail and this kind of stuff, but it works.
And then Alderman Redpath saying, we need to go after them even harder.
I think we ought to also reach out to Crime Stoppers and put a bounty on these folks. And money talks, and I guarantee you people will turn them in. In addition to the Skycam, the license plate readers, Ralph, would probably be a good resource for us, because once we catch them, we got to crack them. And if our fines aren't enough, we have to figure out, raise our ordinance fines, or talk to the circuit court about stiffer penalties on these people, because it is habitual people that are doing it all the time. I mean, it's crazy, because we give them opportunities when they got big appliance or loads that they want to get away, we take it. I mean, we give them every opportunity to help them do it, but they continually take the money from the people and then they run up and down the alleys and dump it in these people's neighborhoods, and that's just wrong. So.
And Police Chief Scarlett's reacting to some of this, talking about technology and other concerns.
As petty as they may seem, we still need evidence to verify who did what. So cameras, LPRs, Crime Stoppers, great use of our resources. We'll certainly do that. And we have been partnering with Public Works, I believe, on some trail.
Alderman Donnellan, who was the chair of the Committee of the Whole last night, also talking about the steps needed to tackle this problem.
Trying to catch people. It's the same Coke cans, it's the same bottles, it's the same banana peels, it's the same diapers. I hate to be gross, but it's true. A guy I know that lives backs up to that. He's picking that stuff up every single week, so it's all over. And it's a big deal to the neighborhoods. It may not be a big deal to when it happens in one area to another area, but we got to keep our city clean. So I appreciate all the.
And then Alderman Hanauer jumping back in, talking about the need for penalty enhancement. So you had Redpath say get Crime Stoppers involved, pay cash rewards. Hanauer says we need to fine people more.
And I would be in support of raising our fines and kind of putting some more teeth in it, because if we catch them, I mean, slapping them with a $100 fine isn't going to do a lot for some of these people. What we got to do is we need to hit them hard. And
so what is that going to look like, though? Is it going to be disparately treated? Alderwoman Jennifer Notoriano, she talked about how the public really needs more information about all of this.
I remember when I was sitting out there before I got up here, hearing an idea, I believe it was Alderwoman Conley's, to put a list of approved haulers on our website so that our citizens know if you want your trash actually dumped and not put in someone's alley across town, please use these vendors. I think that would be at least a step in the right direction. Put these bad actors out of business.
Then Alderwoman Purchase also talked about the things that she faces when it comes to crews getting out and cleaning things up and the volunteers that come out and help clean things up, but then there's just more fly dumping.
And even with our doorbell cameras, we can't really see a license plate of who it is. The last person we looked at, they took their license plate off. So they getting real smart. And then dumping and driving off, and we can't identify who they are. And we pay attention, and Lincoln Park and Enos Park is really good for picking up all of the mattresses and the alleys, and we send about 12 loads over to Public Works, and these people come back and do it again. So the effort of us cleaning it up and bringing 30 people out, it's like they come back and they just dump right away again in 10 days.
That's got to be frustrating. I mean, listen, I live on a lot that's right next to a busy street, and I got to pick up a bunch of trash, but to do it over and over and over again.
Making sure that people understand, that there is a program that they can use. It's 6 bulky items. You can do it twice a year. You can do it once a year, and have a more focused outreach effort to really promote that. But also promote the fact that, again, as Alderman Gregory pointed out, there's a tipping fee. So if you're paying someone $100 to clean out your garage, people need to know that you're probably paying to have your stuff dumped in someone else's yard or in front of someone else's yard or behind someone's garage.
So really, she's urging the community organizers and the outreach efforts to educate the public better about all of this.
Because if they come and take a whole bunch of stuff out of your garage for $100, that is going into someone else's lot. And that is, you are contributing to more work, more mess for our city. And in the end, you're creating a problem for our other taxpayers. So maybe kind of a combined, yes, outreach, yes, education, but let's educate our residents too and be reasonable about expectations about the cost of these things.
And it does compound quite a bit. But what about the resources and the personnel needed? Alderman Rockford sharing his thoughts about that.
The Public Works Department puts out 2 trucks, a loader, a total of 4 guys to clean up these messes on a daily basis. And it's overwhelming. So again, the numbers, the head count, that's going to be, the directors and the mayor getting together and talking about it. So there's 4 people doing this work throughout the city. So take that in.
Might have to be some more added resources to take care of all of this. A lot more to come from last night's Springfield City Council meeting. We'll get to that coming up here with Springfield's Morning News. Council Roundup brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch. And don't forget about delivery. Head West Subs. All right, 7:34 now. Let's get a check of headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. The end of Roe versus Wade has marked the beginning of a surge in legal abortions performed in Illinois. Planned Parenthood says it has seen a 54% increase in the number of abortions it has performed in the state since the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a woman's right to choose nearly 1 year ago. The agency says the percentage of its patients coming from out of state has more than tripled. It also says the Dobbs decision has resulted in more women seeking abortions later in pregnancy, since the court ruling has imposed delays and higher costs on women's reproductive choices. 3 people, including a juvenile, are facing weapons charges after Springfield police carried out a search warrant at a home in the 1300 block of East Edwards around 5 p.m. Sunday. After police recovered a loaded AR-style weapon, 23-year-old Jeremiah Wesley and 18-year-old Darius Thomas were charged with unlawful possession of a weapon by a gang member and possession of a firearm without a FOID card, among other charges. The 17-year-old juvenile was charged with possession of a firearm without a FOID card. The personal finance website Wallet Hub has placed Springfield 9th on a list of 300 U.S. cities for housing affordability. The ranking measures home prices, maintenance costs, insurance rates, property taxes, and cost of living, among other criteria. Ryan McCready with the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance says affordability and stability of the housing market help draw new businesses and jobs to the area. The National Park Service says the site of the 1908 race riot in Springfield meets the criteria to be included as part of the national park system, an important step toward the possible establishment of a national monument here. The Special Resource Study says the archaeological site containing remnants of property destroyed during the violent episode meets the criteria for Park Service management. Area members of Congress have been pushing to have the site declared a national monument, and a congressional hearing is set for next week on a bill to make that happen. Capital Township is looking for someone to fill a vacancy on its board of trustees. Brad Carlson recently resigned from the board following his election as a Springfield alderman. Applicants must be a registered voter who lives within Capital Township and must be of the same political party as Carlson, a Republican. Applications must be submitted by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, June 21st. They can be sent by mail or email to Capital Township Supervisor Joe Alio at the Sangamon County Building. It's Sangamon County Fair time. The annual event in New Berlin opens today and runs through Sunday. Among this year's fair highlights will be the Country Fair Queen Pageant on Wednesday, a rodeo on Friday, a talent show and demolition derby on Saturday, and a tractor pull and the Little Miss Pageant on Sunday. There will also be carnival rides and live music, including Blackberry Smoke and Stony LaRue in the grandstand Thursday night. General admission is just $5 this year, with kids 4 and under admitted free. More information is available at sangcofair.com. Springfield's dependable forecast is next on WMAY.
WMAY News, brought to you by The Inn at 835. Let The Inn at 835 handle your next business or social gathering with style.
With a double X battery, generations of power. Batteries of all shapes and sizes, excellent service, exceptional value.
They're called Motobat batteries, and we have them at Rex. Motobats are batteries for motorcycles that are powerful enough to handle all your accessories. As you add new gadgets to your motorcycle, the standard factory battery may not be enough to handle it all. The Motobat battery is designed to send enough juice to the whole motorcycle and keep you moving down the road. At Rex Battery, we have all kinds of batteries for all kinds of vehicles. The Motobat battery has a quad flex terminal design, shortening the path to the battery cable. That means you get quicker power delivery and improved starting ability. If you have a motorcycle, you need Motobat. Rex Battery on Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery, generations of power.
Your son was 3 when you planted that tree in your backyard. Now he's grown, planting seeds and making memories with his own kids. Let Heartland Bank help you grow more memories with banking options for every stage of your life. Welcome, former Town & Country Bank customers. We're your community bank. Heartland Bank. We build relationships that nurture and grow your dreams. Visit us today at hbtbank.com. Member FDIC.
Order your sub from the new Head West in-store kiosks, and you get a free brownie. Free brownie.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today.
Yeah! To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Everywhere you are, everywhere you live, with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Mostly sunny today with a high near 86, low tonight around 62. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 90, low around 60. Friday sunny with a high near 86. Saturday, a chance of afternoon showers with a high near 87. And Sunday, showers are likely with a high near 86 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Enjoy the summer fling at Elkhart Station, Saturday, June 17th.
We're going to have a fun-filled event with music, some vendors that are going to be selling some local crafts, and then we'll also have antique tractors, and then, of course, the brick-and-mortar businesses. So this is truly all about community and bringing it all back together.
Take the short drive up Route 66 to Elkhart Station, located in the heart of Elkhart, Illinois. Saturday, June 17th from 11 to 6. It's the Summer Fling at Elkhart Station. Register today to celebrate the accomplishments of local businesses at the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce Annual Small Business Awards. The luncheon starts at 11:30 on June 20th at the Crown Plaza, where business people will be recognized in 4 different categories: not-for-profit business director, new and emerging business owner, small business owner, and the Lifetime Award. Register now at gscc.org. The Chamber's Annual Small Business Awards, presented by Hickory Point Bank.
Next up at the Muni, get ready to rock with the jukebox musical Rock of Ages. We'll take you back to the big bad 1980s, featuring big bands with big egos playing big guitar solos and sporting even bigger hair. Featuring hits from bands like Styx, Journey, REO Speedwagon, Twisted Sister, Pat Benatar, and more. Rock of Ages tells the story of a city boy and a small town girl and how their band of friends saved the day and the music. UCB presents Rock of Ages, opening June 23rd at the Muni. Get tickets at the box office or themuni.org.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, back with the Council Roundup, and it's brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch. Don't forget about delivery, Head West Subs. All right, so last night they also had a presentation about a new hazardous mitigation plan that the county wants the city to adopt as well. So if you want to read that further, you can go check out the City of Springfield's website, and they actually have, for the most recent meeting, all of the handouts that you need to be able to have to be better informed than just listening to a cursory review of the Council Roundup, which is a great resource for you guys each and every Wednesday morning to get an idea of what happened at last night's City Council meeting. But next up, you've got a slew of different appointments that are being made here, from who's going to lead the Oak Ridge Cemetery, historic cemetery in Springfield where Lincoln is buried, and it's managed by the City of Springfield. Also, you've got appointments for a local regional board that Alderman Hanauer is going to be appointed to, and Alderwoman Purchase is going to be appointed to. And Alderman Sean Gregory had some questions and actually wanted to change who is being appointed to this board. Here he is talking about his concerns last night at the Springfield City Council Committee of the Whole.
So this Regional Planning Commission, I'm not in full understanding of. I haven't took time. I know Alderman Williams was on that, correct, last time? And
Hanauer, myself, and
okay. So can we, can we look at selecting somebody else besides maybe Alderman Hanauer? And the reason why I say that, Alderman, is because I feel like your ward is represented well. It's growing well. And this particular ward, I won't speak for anybody else's ward, but this particular ward is suffering. And I'm not vouching for me to be on there. I really don't care. I really don't have that much time. But I do want, even if we go forward, I'm sure the votes are there, but however this commission does and the planning and all of those things, I hope that the voices of Ward 2 or the struggles of this ward are represented and thought about, because it's really, really important. And there's a lot of momentum in our community, and I really want to keep it going so we can see, more and more people thrive in this great city. So thank you.
And then you get a response from Alderman Hanauer, who is being appointed to this board, and he kind of talks about the rationale.
The reason why I was appointed was, I think when originally Alderman Williams was going to be appointed, we found out that it had to be one of each party. So,
why ain't y'all the same party?
Huh?
Really?
Come on.
What? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I don't really.
But so, the other aspect is this committee meets at 9:30 in the morning, so it's tough for people that do have jobs. I don't care if somebody wants to take my place; they're more than welcome to. But I believe we have to have a Republican and Democrat on it, and I'm the Republican on it. So that's the way it sits.
So again, that's the rationale for having Hanauer on that. But what about the other appointment messages? Here's the clerk reading out those.
23-259, an ordinance approving the appointment of Gregory E. Mordock as Corporation Counsel. 2023-260, an ordinance approving the reappointment of Alderman Ralph Hanauer to serve on the Springfield-Sangamon County Regional Planning Commission. 2023-261, an ordinance approving the appointment of Alderwoman Lakeisha Purchase to serve as the Springfield-Sangamon County Regional Planning Commission. 2023-262, an ordinance approving the appointment of Gregory C. Talley as Executive Director of Oak Ridge Cemetery for the Office of Public Works.
So Talley was there to address the council and introduce himself.
My name is Greg Talley, and I am honored to receive the appointment as Executive Director of Oak Ridge Cemetery.
And he went on to talk about his expertise and why he feels he's going to do a good job as the director of the Oak Ridge Cemetery.
I feel that my long and diverse experience sets me up well and meshes well with this position. I believe all my previous things bring a lot to this position, and I think that I will be doing a very good job. Something that I didn't take lightly when Mayor Busher did approach me. I did meet with Interim Director Lellis several times to make sure this was something that I thought would be a good fit for me. So that I could make the decision that this would be something that I wanted to do. And I also wanted to meet with Director Lellis because I wanted his endorsement as well. I wanted him to know who I was, my past, and what I have to offer.
So obviously somebody new to lead Oak Ridge Cemetery, an historic cemetery here in Springfield where Abe Lincoln is buried. The new Corporation Counsel, Gregory Mordock.
Yes, I do still want the job.
All right.
I'm into it now for half a month, and I'm enjoying it. But I just want to say that it really is an honor to represent the city of Springfield, my hometown, and I'm excited to get started. I'll tell this board what I told Chatham and Auburn and Assumption when I started representing them. Integrity, accuracy, and communication form the foundation of my practice, and I hope to extend that to all of you. Please feel free. You have my contact information. Reach out to me anytime. When your constituents start reaching out to you between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday, we can revisit that arrangement. But until then, I am always available. So please feel free to contact me. And I look forward to working with all of you and representing the city.
Well, I imagine alder people are going to be reaching out to him quite a bit to draft ordinances that they want to make happen. So we'll be watching that. An ordinance from Alderman Hanauer?
And hopefully it'll give these guys more an idea they got to finish their business. So if you haven't had horizontal drilling done through I-3 broadband or through AT&T is the two that's noted the most, I can tell you that you will find out as soon as they're in your ward, because you will get phone calls.
So again, the ordinance that he proposed is about excavation, and we've heard Alderman Hanauer talk about this ad nauseum of companies coming in and messing up people's yards and not fixing them, so an ordinance hoping to address that. Next up,
23-265, an ordinance authorizing payment of $40,000 for a settlement of Sangamon County Circuit Court Case 21-L-0172, Angela Harlow versus Michael Reedy Jr. and the City of Springfield.
Motion for consent.
Second.
and that deals with an accident
for the consent
that
agenda.
a
Any
Springfield
discussion?
police officer got into.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by
$40,000
saying
settlement.
aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes
And
have
the
it.
next one,
2023-266, an ordinance authorizing payment of $70,000 for settlement of Central District of Illinois Federal Court Case 20-CV-3145, Alfred Claiborne and Andrea Early versus the City of Springfield, Ryan Maddox and Michael Brown.
and that's like a $90,000 settlement for
Motion
wrongful
and a second for the
arrest.
consent agenda. Any discussion?
So a couple of things going on consent agenda of settlements that the City of Springfield's entering into. Rather fascinating. All right, new and unfinished business. Alderman Gregory on Juneteenth.
Thursday is Levitt. I'll be hosting that as part of Juneteenth celebration, and I'm very, very happy and energized of what I see around the city with Juneteenth. I know there's one out there in Ward 1 event. I know Alderwoman Purchase has the events. And for us on this body, after we enjoy this great holiday, we passed it here, Council. After we enjoy this great holiday, I want us to absorb that. And I'm passionate about it because, you know, our ancestors are very, very resilient to even make it here, for me to be here. So, I guess I'm saying, to make it short, that let's not let this holiday be just a symbolic one. Let's really, really, really try to dig into the true issues, especially in this community that I represent. And I have to say these things because it's very, very important. And I just don't want this holiday to pass without us really putting some true thought in on how we move forward for communities like the one I represent. Thank you.
And Alderwoman Purchase also letting it be known all the different events that she has scheduled for Juneteenth that go all throughout this weekend into early next week.
We also have, she's one of my MPOs, Officer Flug. She's having a candlelight event on Friday at Union Square. And it's at 8 p.m. and this is for loved ones who was lost due to gun violence. So I want to encourage everyone after they attend the NAOR event for Juneteenth to come right on over and don't go home yet. And then, like Alderman Gregory said, I'm excited because I think it starts with our youth. And on Monday, we're going to have a whole exhibit for Juneteenth, and I'm doing crafts with the kids and also reading. And kids are very smart. They'll tell me what the book means before I open it up, just from looking at the pictures and the illustrations. So I'm excited to share with our youth about Juneteenth and our seniors on Thursday too with the organizers. So we're hitting every pocket and not forgetting anyone. So I encourage, as always, my colleagues to join too this whole entire weekend. We have lots going on until Monday evening.
So Juneteenth celebrations this weekend. Make sure to get out there and celebrate Juneteenth. And we'll obviously bring you a council roundup next week. It's brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch. Head West Subs. All right, that's your council roundup. And coming back, we'll do a quick review of some state headlines from COVID-19 fraud and construction projects and more. So stay tuned. It's on the way now. 7:53 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Culver's West on Wabash is hiring for all shifts and all positions. Apply today in person.
You probably think the sun is what's costing you money in this summer with all that heat driving up your air conditioning bills. But what if the sun could save you money? It's time to schedule your free residential solar estimate today from MB Heating and Cooling. Solar energy could be the way to bring down your bills while helping to promote a cleaner, greener environment. Illinois wants to produce 25% of its electricity from renewable resources by the year 2025. So this is a great time to enhance your home with solar paneling. You can start with little to no money down and enjoy monthly solar payments that are lower than your budget for electricity. You'll even qualify for federal and state tax incentives. MB Heating and Cooling has been creating healthy homes and businesses here in our area since 1986. They have certified technicians staying on top of the latest trends in the industry. So reach out to MB Heating and Cooling to talk about whether solar is right for you. 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328, or mb-heating.com.
What, you are asking yourself, would it be like to work in the shadow of the great Lauterbach man? Well, now is your chance to find out. We are hiring here at Lauterbach Tire, but not just anybody. No, you've got to be good at what you do and experienced at what you do. So if you're a tire and lube technician and you know your stuff, you have experience, you could work here for a great family company. I know what you're asking. Hey, Lauterbach man, what do you have for me? Well, we have opportunities for advancement, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a hearty good morning from me. It's an opening for a full-time tire and lube technician with experience. We can only send the best out to work on the cars in our 7 bays. Interested? Of course you are. Apply in person at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash. It will be a pleasure to work with you. Lauterbach man here. Drive safely now.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
The shortest distance between you and a Head West sub is now through the new in-store kiosks.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
If you have a security system, give this a try. Call them and see what their response time is. Can you talk to a real live person 24 hours a day, even weekends and holidays? Are they prompt to follow up with your service requests? Barcom Security is winning customers by outstanding performance on all of those fronts. Every second counts. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Governor J.B. Pritzker toured parts of southern Illinois, looking at a new bridge that's being built with your tax dollars and some new airport digs for an airport in southern Illinois. The governor was asked about the substantial difference in gas prices between Missouri and Illinois, which is about 80 cents a gallon cheaper in Missouri, depending on where exactly you go from Illinois.
In Illinois, as a result of our motor fuel tax, we're able to build 4 times as much as Missouri is able to build.
So the governor sounded off on that. But you've also got questions of how much COVID-19 fraud there's been. $4.5 trillion of taxpayer funding approved by Congress. Illinois got $160 billion in public and private sectors. One major known fraud area is unemployment. State Representative Dan Calkins said that they're going to go after this with a bill that extends the statute of limitations.
It was extremely problematic, and we still to this day don't know how badly Illinois got ripped off.
He says
in our unemployment fraud. We also, the PPP fraud people were claiming.
He says that it's just one part of reflecting on the problems of the pandemic. He's still got tons of other questions about contracting as well with the Illinois Department of Employment Security, so a lot more to be said about all of that. All right, we'll talk population decline
From
next.
the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Mike Dubusky. Former President Donald Trump is 77 years old today, his birthday coming one day after his arraignment on 37 felony criminal counts and just hours after a speech before supporters in New Jersey. ABC's Rachel Scott was inside the courtroom for Trump's appearance.
In front of the cameras, Trump was upbeat and defiant.
They will fail and we will win bigger and better than ever before.
Declaring his innocence and threatening to go after President Biden if elected. Hours earlier in Florida, Trump's motorcade departing his Doral resort, the former president riding alone on the way to the Miami courthouse. A group of supporters and opponents gathering outside, largely peaceful, far fewer than the tens of thousands police had prepared for.
Special counsel Jack Smith was also in the courtroom for Tuesday's arraignment. In response to new economic data that shows inflation slowing, the Federal Reserve is expected to pause interest rate hikes at the conclusion of today's meeting. Moody's Analytics chief economist Mark Zandi says don't get used to it.
Doesn't mean that we're not going to see more rate hikes later this summer, later this year. But for the time being, I think they're going to stop, take a look around, see what impact the rate hikes they've already implemented over the past year is having on the broader economy.
The impact of the I-95 closure in Philadelphia is starting to sink in for some. Truck driver Joseph Fitzpatrick says it'll cut into his bottom line.
Every week this goes on, and every month, this is going to cost me over $1,500 a month. Extra, just on tolls.
And those costs will most likely be passed on to consumers. The overpass collapsed after a fiery crash last weekend that left a truck driver dead. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg toured the highway on Tuesday. Repairs could take months. An 18-year-old Army trainee opened fire on his fellow soldiers at a firing range on a Japanese Army base today. 2 of them were killed. The suspect arrested on suspicion of murder charges. This is ABC News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26.
All right, let's talk about population decline. Democrats in Illinois seem to say it's not happening, but the reports keep coming out showing that Illinois is losing not 10,000, not 20,000, not 40,000, not 50,000, not 60, not 75, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 30, 100+ thousand people no longer in the state of Illinois that once were. We'll talk with WirePoint's president, Ted Dabrowski, with the latest breakdown of those numbers and what it means for Illinois. Are we in some kind of death spiral here? What's causing that? So stay tuned. We'll get the latest numbers out with Ted Dabrowski from WirePoint. Right now, it's 8:04, and let's check some headlines.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story.
Capital Township has a vacancy on its Board of Trustees after member Brad Carlson resigned following his election as a Springfield alderman. Any applicants must be a registered Republican voter who lives within Capital Township. Applications must be submitted by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, June 21st. They can be sent by mail or email to Capital Township Supervisor Joe Alio at the Sangamon County Building. The personal finance website Wallet Hub has placed Springfield 9th on a list of 300 U.S. cities for housing affordability. The ranking measures home prices, maintenance costs, insurance rates, property taxes, and cost of living, among other criteria. Ryan McCready with the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance says affordability and stability of the housing market help draw new businesses and jobs to the area. The end of Roe v. Wade has marked the beginning of a surge in legal abortions performed in Illinois. Planned Parenthood says it has seen a 54% increase in the number of abortions it has performed in the state since the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a woman's right to choose nearly a year ago. The agency says the percentage of its patients coming from out of state has more than tripled. It also says the Dobbs decision has resulted in more women seeking abortions later in pregnancy, since the court ruling has imposed delays and higher costs on women's reproductive choices. 3 people, including a juvenile, are facing weapons charges after Springfield police carried out a search warrant at a home in the 1300 block of East Edwards around 5 p.m. Sunday. After police recovered a loaded AR-style weapon, 23-year-old Jeremiah Wesley and 18-year-old Darius Thomas were charged with unlawful possession of a weapon by a gang member and possession of a firearm without a FOID card, among other charges. The 17-year-old juvenile was charged with possession of a firearm without a FOID card. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
This summer, Coors Light wants you to retire, even if it's only temporary. Take a break from your 9 to 5 for 9 holes of golf.
4.
Trade those spreadsheets for a bingo card.
7. Oh, bingo!
Or swap your office chair for a water aerobics floaty.
Come on, go, everyone!
This summer, welcome to temporary retirement. Coors Light, made to chill. Copyright 2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
The Levitt Amp Springfield Music Series presented by PNC Bank. This Thursday, live downtown, featuring the Block Party Mixtape and St. Boogie Brad Band. It's an absolutely free celebration of music every Thursday at 6 p.m. on the lawn at South 4th and Jackson Streets. Ride easy on SMTD to the Levitt Amp concerts. Thank you to series sponsors, Community Foundation for the Land of Lincoln, Illinois Realtors, U.S. Bank, Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum, MSFNW, Memorial Health, Springfield Clinic, and Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance. Full schedule at LevittAmpSpringfield.org. Midwest Family is a proud media sponsor of the Levitt Amp Springfield Music Series.
Weather sponsored by Lotterback Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Listen and watch interviews with the biggest newsmakers. Subscribe to 92.7 WMAY on YouTube.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Mostly sunny today with a high near 86, low tonight around 62. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 90, low around 60. Friday sunny with a high near 86. Saturday a chance of afternoon showers with a high near 87. And Sunday showers are likely with a high near 86 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health: meditation. It starts with proper breathing. By breathing in slowly for 5 or 10 seconds and exhaling, counting the same way, for just a few minutes each day has been a big deal for many people as they reach a new level of relaxation. Now, That's just a start. If your feelings of depression and hopelessness are accentuated with drugs and alcohol, then you may need some professional help. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychiatrists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Gateway also uses meditation as a key component of their successful treatment. Your insurance covers the cost, and the Family Medical Leave Act protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
On Thursday, June 15th, the Sangamon Mass Transit District invites you to dump the pump and try transit.
Leave your car at home and join the movement to decrease global gas usage and reduce air pollution.
It's a safe, convenient, reliable way to travel and save money.
Only $1.25 per ride, or $3 for an all-day pass.
You'll ride in climate-controlled comfort so you can avoid the stress of traffic and parking hassles.
Dump the pump, try transit, and save money. June 15th.
For more information on routes and schedules, visit smtd.org.
If you're planning a furniture facelift, your timing couldn't be better. Hendricks Home Furnishings is moving all floor samples and warehouse overstock today. They need it all gone. So prices have been slashed to historic lows, never before seen and never to be seen again. That includes Lazy Boy. Come choose your favorites. Get it delivered fast and free during this one and only clearance blowout at the place where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4, Verdon, and online at hendricks.tv.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
For most of the past decade, census numbers show that Illinois continues to shrink, and the number of people fleeing the state of Illinois continues to increase, according to the annual estimates from the U.S. Census data. It's not just the U.S. Census data. You've got private numbers from U-Haul, United Van Lines. You've got other government data from the IRS, all indicating Illinois is losing population. Despite all of that, Governor J.B. Pritzker and even Illinois' congressional delegation not believing those numbers and saying that the U.S. Census needs to change their way of calculating these numbers. Well, it's not just the overall national population that the census releases. It's not just the state-by-state population the census releases. They also release the population changes about counties. They release the population changes about cities. Well, the most recent data deals with how many people are leaving a state and going to another, or how many people are going to a particular state. And Ted Dabrowski with WirePoints has that data. He's digested that data. He joins us now to talk about this. Ted, let's get right on into it. What's the latest you guys have found there at WirePoints?
The U.S. Census confirms we're losing people, and this is the, as you said, state-to-state movements. And when you add up all the people that move into Illinois in a given year, and the people who move out in a given year to other states, we lost a net 146,000 people in 1 year. That's the third biggest loss in the country. Only California and New York did worse. And what's really damning about the whole thing is it's not just sunny Florida or maybe Arizona that we lose our people to. We're big net losers to Indiana, to Wisconsin, to Missouri, to Iowa. We lose to every single one on a net basis, in and out, to every single one of our neighbors. So it's a really damning number. We can't keep our people, and that's a big problem.
Ted, when the governor's asked about this, he always points to some survey results that the census put out after the 2020 count and says, hey, they miscalculated. Where's he wrong on that?
Well, we spoke to the census after they came out with that. They said that based on a tiny sample after the census was done, they said that they see some errors. But they said they can't extrapolate that error to the whole count. So they haven't changed the count. But Pritzker likes to grab onto that thing, keep repeating it, ignoring that the IRS data says the exact same thing the census data says. The U.S. Van Lines, the U-Haul, all those things keep pointing in the same direction. But Pritzker's trying to hide behind that one error term that they talk about, which they say there's an error, but they won't and can't change the numbers because that error doesn't apply to the full census count.
Well, and it's interesting too because as I mentioned, you've got the state population counts, and then they drill it down to county population counts, and then they drill it down to large city population counts. These are all kind of like independent verifications of the overall census trends. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, no, I think it is safe to say, and I think the biggest problem with this population loss is, of course, all the policies that are chasing people away, and we can blame some of that on tax, some of that on crime, some of that on the corruption culture we have. We can blame it on a little bit of everything. But my biggest beef with the whole thing is, you can't fix a problem until you acknowledge it, and Governor Pritzker will not acknowledge the problem. He hides behind it, and that's what's wrong for Illinois.
Looking at some of the graphics you have at wirepoints.org for this story, it shows Illinois with arrows pointing out to all of the neighboring states. So we're losing population to all of these neighboring states in addition to Florida taking a whole bunch of Illinoisans?
That's right. So, to Indiana, for example, let's start with Florida. Florida, of course, is the biggest net destination. When you count the ins and outs between Florida and Illinois, Florida gained 24,000 net residents from Illinois. Indiana gained 19,000 from Illinois. Wisconsin gained 17, and Missouri gained 15,000. So those are big numbers that we're losing. Those are taxpayers. Those are people who can contribute to the economy, create jobs, et cetera. They're gone.
Ted, we had some gain from some states. I guess that's kind of good news. What do we know about the states where we actually saw people move from to live in Illinois?
Yeah, so we lost on a net basis to 40 states. So we're net losers to them. And we mentioned the big ones. We gained from 9. Net, we gained from 9. But the numbers that we gained were very small. And so, and it includes places like maybe New Jersey and Connecticut. Those are tough places to live, and maybe they thought Illinois might be a little better. I don't know. But, the numbers were small. The net gains were small, not enough to offset at all the huge losses we had. And that's how we ended up with a net 146,000 loss in people leaving this state.
Ted Dabrowski joins us. He is the president of WirePoints and talking about the latest population decline data from the U.S. Census and what's really driving this. What's the main factors you see of people leaving the state of Illinois?
People like to blame taxes, and I argue that people don't mind paying high taxes if they're getting really good services, right? Or they won't. But the problem in Illinois is we're paying the first or second highest property taxes in the country, and yet our services are not good. In many cases, they're bad. So taxes is one. I think the job opportunities, when you have a shrinking state, one with a lot of pension debt, a lot of debts, a bad credit rating, companies will be more cautious about investing here. They'd rather invest in Tennessee, in Texas, and Florida, even Indiana, where things are growing. Why invest in a shrinking state? So I think opportunities is another big factor. Start adding crime to that. Chicago crime has got to scare people away. We don't have good numbers on that, but you got to think that crime is a big factor. And then add the COVID restrictions for the 3 years. That certainly pushed a lot of people out of the state.
Ted Dabrowski, president of WirePoints. Of course, people can find more of your work at wirepoints.org. I just want to touch on some of the education numbers you've been able to continue reporting on. Chicago doesn't look that great. Decatur as well has had some issues. Encapsulate some of those numbers and how we're faring with Illinois' education, especially since we've been putting even more money year after year after year into K through 12 education. Is that working?
Yeah. And Greg, you're right. I didn't mention education in one of the reasons people leaving, but our education is dismal, and the numbers bear that out. And across the state, what we found straight from the Illinois State Report Card and ISB is only 1 out of 10 across the entire state. 1 out of every 10 black kids can read at grade level, just 1 out of 10. For Hispanics, it's closer to 2 out of 10. And overall, across the entire state, it's just 3 out of 10 kids can read at grade level. So it's dismal. And again, we're not recognizing the problem. We're not obsessing about literacy. We should be doing much more. And it gets even worse when you move into places like Decatur, where the numbers are, like third grade black kids. It's 2 out of 100 kids can read at grade level. So it's beyond dismal. And I don't see enough pain and people talking about this. Governor Pritzker should be in Decatur fighting that issue right now.
And Ted, something else you guys have recently published at wirepoints.org is the latest crime statistics reviewing new Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's first month in office. Tell us about the 38% jump in crime that you guys have discovered.
Yeah, so if you measure, this is straight from the Chicago CompStat data. If you look at crimes in Brandon Johnson's first month and you compare them to the same month a year ago, like for like, crimes are up 38%, and it's across the board. There were 3 fewer deaths in that month compared to a year ago, so that's the good news. But that's those are sadly rounding errors within Chicago's homicide numbers. But all the crimes, every single big major crime item was up, and so it's too early, I think, to blame Johnson, or I'll let people decide whether they want to blame him or not. But he hasn't taken any actions to tamp down on crime. He said a lot of things, I think, that might incite more crime. So the jury's out, but he's been there a month, and I think people are watching to see what he's going to do. So far, he's taken no concrete actions yet to tamp down on crime immediately.
WirePoint's President Ted Dabrowski, greatly appreciate your expertise always. It's a lot of data you guys crunch, but you're able to do it in a way that gets people to understand what the numbers mean. So thank you for taking time with us, and we'll talk again in the near future, all right?
Thank you, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And coming up, Business in the 217, a review of what's going on in and around the Springfield business community. Stay tuned. It's now 8:20. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast. Today, the mostly sunny sky will be with us, the high of 86, the low of 63 with clouds. And then mostly sunny Thursday, the high of 91. Friday, we're looking at sunny skies, 86 the high, and a possibility of some showers Saturday, the high of around 87. And Sunday, chance of showers, the high of 86. Right now, it's about 65 degrees at 8:20 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Deliver smiles, butter burgers, fresh custard, and great service. Culver's West on Wabash is hiring for all positions.
Hey, business owners, did you know that your new customers almost always go to this site before they ever make it to your webpage? I'm talking about Google, of course. Now, if you haven't done this, Google your business name and see your own Google My Business section. It'll appear right on that first page. It's where people research you, get directions, talk about you, and complain about you. If you haven't claimed that page, you can do it now, free. If you have and you're not responding to those reviews, both good and bad, you can do that too, free. So what else can I help you with? We talk to our clients about these issues all the time, and it's the main reason I rejoined this company a couple years ago. Yep, we saw lots of radio. It's effective and it's fun. But with our team of proven experts in the digital world, there isn't a problem we can't tackle with your help. My name's Dave Dennis. I'm an integrated marketing professional at Midwest Family. Just go to our website at midwestfamilyspi.com and click around and look for me. That's midwestfamilyspi.com. And let's talk about your next step to business success in this changing world. John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
The Levitt Amp Springfield Music Series presented by PNC Bank. This Thursday, live downtown, featuring the Block Party Mixtape and St. Boogie Brad Band. It's an absolutely free celebration of music every Thursday at 6 p.m. on the lawn at South 4th and Jackson Streets. Ride easy on SMTD to the Levitt Amp concerts. Thank you to series sponsors, Community Foundation for the Land of Lincoln, Illinois Realtors, U.S. Bank, Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum, MSFNW, Memorial Health, Springfield Clinic, and Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance. Full schedule at LevittAmpSpringfield.org. Midwest Family is a proud media sponsor of the Levitt Amp Springfield Music Series.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, SPI to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
Local, local, local. For 27 years. Just Beds has been your local mattress store for 27 years, featuring locally made Bemco mattresses like Arctic Breeze and Max Life. That's a lot of local helping local. And all this month at Just Beds, you will save big on Bemco. Twin mattresses for $149, queen mattresses just $229. As always, free delivery, setup, and haul away locally. Thank you for supporting Just Beds for 27 years. Keep buying local, friends. See the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds on Montvale and Springfield.
If your computer is showing signs of slowing down, bring it to BLH Computers. They've restored thousands of computers once thought destined for a replacement. Remember, if you bought it from BLH Computers, repairs are free, as in no charge for labor. In-stock replacement parts are free as well. Those are just some of the details of the exclusive BLH guarantee. So if it's taking you longer to get your computer work done, it could just be a small repair. Bring it to BLH Computers for a complete diagnosis. BLH Computers in Jacksonville, Taylorville, Springfield, and online at blhcomputers.com.
Hello, everybody. Cousin Bill with Illinois Paving, your Reader's Choice Award Paver of the Year. Thanks for that. Is your driveway a sloppy, muddy mess? Are you tired of getting stuck in your driveway? Maybe you're sick of all the sloppy mud in the car and in the house. Or maybe you don't want all the garbage rock in your lawn. Well, if so, call Cousin Bill at Illinois Paving. ILPaving.com! ILPaving.com.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
All right, head over to WMAY.com/poll and take today's daily poll, which asks you about public transportation and Amtrak soon posting speeds of 110 miles an hour between Chicago and St. Louis. Does that make you more likely to use Amtrak for travel? Yes or no? And more than 3 out of 4 of you say no, it's not. Gosh, I remember being on the first train that went 110 miles an hour on Amtrak, and that was, back in 2011? And now they're just now launching it. So go take today's daily poll, WMAY.com/poll, or on the WMAY mobile app.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Well, as we do each and every week at this time, we talk with Michelle Loamby, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, to get an idea of what's going on in and around the Springfield business community. Thanks for taking time with us, Michelle. And let's get right on into it. You've got some changes and happening with RE/MAX professionals. What kind of move are they looking to make?
Yes, the real estate agents over at RE/MAX are looking to make a move of their own. By the end of next month, they are going to be working out of a new office. Now, they're not going very far. They've been in that building on West Monroe right by LRS for about 35 years now, and they're just moving right across the street to a Farragut address. It was previously home to HSHS administrative offices. But I had a chance to chat with owner Jim Fulgenzi the other day, and he said, the office world has changed a lot in the last 35 years, particularly just in the last few years since COVID, as far as the way people use their workspace. And, of the 64 agents that they have, he said about half of them don't want a dedicated office. They're working remotely, doing a hybrid kind of schedule, and there's a big demand for common space. I mean, we're hearing this from a lot of employers, not just in real estate, but, people want to be able to come in the office a couple days a week or pop in for a few hours here and there, and instead of having cubicles or private offices, the trend is definitely more towards having these large common areas where people can can gather, plug in their laptop, and take off after a couple hours. So they are finishing up renovations, and by the end of July, Jim says they will be moved into the new spot.
It's interesting when they didn't have to go look for a real estate agent; they had them all there right there. So yeah, good news there with RE/MAX getting a new location. Let's talk about Marine Bank and a merger that's happening.
Yes, speaking of business trends, this is another trend we're seeing. A lot of these smaller banks merging with larger ones. We heard at the end of last year that Marine Bank was going to merge into Morton Community Bank, and they're going to be branded as Clock Tower Community Bank. So you'll start to see the Clock Tower logo and signage and all that. This adds about 10 additional locations to the Morton Community Bank footprint. They are an employee-owned company, so they noted that they're going from being the family-owned business of Marine Bank to an employee-owned company, but their banking facilities in Springfield and Chatham have started the process of changing over. That was just finalized as of June 9th.
And already seeing the Clock Tower Community Bank sign. If you're heading south out of Springfield, you'll see one of those banks with the new sign up. Noticed that the other day. I was like, interesting. Michelle Ownby, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, with us. Sad note to pass along. A long-established eatery club. It's going to go by the wayside. Sangamo Club. Tell us about that.
Yeah, speaking of changing trends, this was one that tried their best to keep up with the times, but, the Sangamo Club was actually established in 1890, and, of course, the roster of members over the years sort of reads like a who's who of Springfield, a lot of the prominent business people and families and all that. And, in more recent years, they had made a big push to try to attract families and younger professionals and that sort of thing, but membership had dwindled just from about 1,000 members in 2016 to around 250 currently. So again, just in the last few years, they've seen a pretty big shift, and families aren't gravitating as much towards formal sit-down dining and all that. So this June 16th will be their last day in business, but I know a lot of people have fond memories, especially of special events, or may have had their wedding reception or things like that at the Sangamo Club.
Yeah, sad to see that note. So up next, we've got something that's going to be happening in a few years here to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Route 66. But preparations, they've been underway for quite some time here in Springfield.
Yes, the Regional Planning Commission is actually working on a master plan for the Route 66 corridor, which 9th Street and Peoria Road as it comes through Springfield, and then, of course, takes different paths in the outlying communities. And I know people say, oh, my gosh, why do we need another plan? What a waste of money. But the reality is that to get money, you have to show that you have a plan. So there is a lot of money coming down the pipeline right now, especially at the state level, because of this centennial coming up. And, of course, Springfield is all about tourism. We already have Abraham Lincoln, and actually a huge number of visitors, particularly international visitors, come here because of the Route 66 connection in Springfield. So the city and the county are trying to figure out how do we get more of them to spend the night instead of just making the drive between St. Louis and Chicago and eating at Cozy Dog or Motorhead's on the way. How do we get them to actually stick around and see everything that Springfield has to offer? So they're putting money into some additional attractions like the new Route 66 exhibit that just opened up at the fairgrounds that'll be there year-round. And they've got some other ideas for things to do along the corridor that will encourage people to slow down a bit and take a little more time here in Springfield.
Well, and 2026 also going to mark the United States 250th anniversary, so that's going to be a big year all around for a whole host of things. Michelle Ownby, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. If people need to get their hands on this, which I encourage they do, tell us how they can get a copy.
Well, you can go to springfieldbusinessjournal.com and sign up for BizBites. That's our weekly newsletter, and it's free of charge. Comes out every Wednesday afternoon with a roundup of what's happening around town. And, of course, you can also sign up for the print edition and make sure you're getting that delivered directly to your home or office.
Michelle Ownby, the Springfield Business Journal. Greatly appreciate your time as always, and we'll connect again next week. Be safe out there.
Thanks, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. It's all I got for you today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, live and local from 6 to 9. But up next, you've got Full Disclosure with Jim Leach and the Better Government Association taking over the airwaves. It's 8:33. Here's a check of headlines.
92.7 WMAY.